Watching or reading the news can often affect our mental health, even when we feel that the news story isn't that negative or it doesn't really directly affect us. But when we feel that there is cause for legitimate concern, it can often fill us with great anxiety and even panic sometimes. So today we're going to talk about how we can continue to stay informed about these topics, but have it affect our mental health less and be able to cope and go on with the rest of our lives. Welcome back. My name is Nina and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. Here at this channel we talk all about our emotional well-being, understanding our own psychology, and leading our best life possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. I've heard a lot of people say that we've really entered a new age of bad news. Now, I don't really know if that is the case, but what I do know is that we have a 24-hour news cycle that seemingly only reports on things that are negative. Now, sometimes these stories are exaggerated, but even when they are not, just hearing about them again and again and again can really take a toll on our mental health. I also know that right now there are some particular concerns that are causing a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. So I thought it would be the perfect time to really address how we can stay up to date on news coverage without it really taking over our lives. So let's talk about 8 different ways we can stay informed but not be constantly filled with anxiety. So the first thing that we can do is to take breaks from the coverage. Now, I know that is sometimes difficult because the news coverage is everywhere. It is on our phones, it is on TV, podcasts, radio, and everybody is talking about it, both on social media and in person. So we are kind of getting inundated with this information, whether we like it or not. But we must take breaks from it or it just gets too overwhelming. Now, there's 2 great ways to know if it's time to really take a break. The first is that you are starting to get emotional and upset and it's starting to create a lot of fear for you. And the second is if you're watching the news and they are starting to repeat information. So if you get to a point where they are kind of just saying the same things, that's a clear indication that they don't have any further things to say about it. They don't have any further information. So that is a great time to step away. Remember, no matter what is happening in the rest of the world, you still have many other aspects of your own life that still require your time, thought, and attention. So you want to make sure that you are still able to carry through with those different aspects of your life. The second thing we can do is to create balance by doing activities that reduce stress. So that could be going outside, that could be playing with your pet, that could be calling friends or family or doing something outdoors, whatever it is for you, reading a book. But you want to make sure that you are creating balance by doing things that are still enjoyable and fun. So you want to schedule time for this because if we go unchecked, a lot of times we'll just continue and continue and continue to watch the news and get more and more anxious. So make sure you are addressing the things in your life that do make you happy. The third thing that we can do is exercise. I really can't say enough about it because it does so much for our mental health. It also greatly reduces stress. So especially during these kind of anxious times, making sure that we make it part of our daily routine is really essential. The fourth thing we can do, and I think this one is really important, is to really assess our worry. So a lot of times when we're hearing all this negative stuff, we have this generalized anxiety about it. But we have to really focus and see what our real true fear actually is. And then from there, we need to think about how much is reality and how much is us just catastrophizing the situation. So if it is true that we are telling ourselves very negative stories, we need to really help ourselves out by cutting down on these negative thought patterns and replacing them with much healthier and constructive thoughts. The fifth thing we can do is to think of any actionable steps that we can actually take in this situation. So if we determine that yes, this is a cause for worry or this is potentially a problem or issue for me, what can I do? A lot of fear and worry comes from the fact that we feel that we don't have any control. But a lot of times we have more control than we think. We can certainly control how we are feeling about a situation, and we can also take actionable steps to prevent situations or maybe lessen the effects of situations. So it's a matter of really sitting down and seeing, what can I do? Is there anything that I can do to be more prepared or to be more informed or to handle this situation any better? And if there are steps that you figure out that you can take, start taking those steps. The sixth thing that we can do is to really seek out the support and help of other people. If we are feeling that our anxiety is really starting to take over our lives, we want to reach out to others. It's likely that maybe other people are feeling the same way you are, and even if they aren't, they may be able to really offer you some love and support at this time that you are feeling anxious. So you can do this by, talking to friends or family, and of course you can always reach out to a mental health professional. The seventh thing that we can do is to try to carry on with as many of our normal everyday activities as is feasible in the current situation. Now, if you have been advised not to do some of these activities, certainly you want to heed that advice. However, if there are aspects of your life that you can continue on with, a lot of times that can reduce anxiety because we have a sense of familiar things still being included in our life. Again, if we're so focused on these negative things, sometimes it is soothing to be able to do the things that normally bring you comfort and joy. So you want to stick to your routine as much as you can. And again, you always want to be listening to what is good and practical in the situation. But again, if there are things that are familiar, sometimes that is comforting for you. And it also makes the other disruptions that can happen in these different news events a little bit less impactful for you. And the eighth thing that we can do is to really limit our exposure to different media outlets or even people that aren't really adding value, but are just exaggerating the situation and the anxiety for us. So again, it is imperative and important that we stay informed. However, if we notice, for example, when we go on Facebook or Twitter, we're seeing a lot of comments that are very triggering for us, that is something that we really want to avoid. We can find our news in a different way that is not going to be as upsetting to us. The same with people. If we are around people that are really making us even more nervous and are not really helping the situation in any way, we want to again limit our exposure to these people. We always have to safeguard our own mental health. So it's a matter of really noticing what are the things that are upsetting to us and not really adding value. And those are the things that we kind of want to step away from during this time. Remember, worry in itself is not productive. It really does not help us in any way. However, it is unrealistic to think that we are not going to experience worry or concern, especially in situations where we feel that there is legitimate reason to be concerned. So that being said, we just want to make sure that we are really taking good care of ourselves, checking in with ourselves, and making sure that our emotional well-being is really a priority for us right now. So make sure we are also engaging in a lot of self-care. So I really hope these 8 strategies are helpful for you and that you are able to continue on with the other aspects of your life that are also deserving of your time and attention. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and if it was, please like it and share it with anyone else who may need to hear the same message today. Also, again, please subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already. We definitely want you to stay connected, and I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Have an absolutely amazing day.